I don't know much, but I know this much. Chelsea have lost to Aston Villa 2-0 at home at Stamford Bridge. Aston Villa have leapfrogged Chelsea up into ninth place. Chelsea are 11th. This is beyond bad. We knew it was going to get beyond bad. We knew it was going to get even worse with Graham Potter at the helm. And it just looks like Chelsea are going nowhere fast. We are a team with no spirit, no management, no in-game management. The starting 11 that gets picked, when you read the team sheet, you think, oh, this looks tasty. This looks like a team that could really do something, could really excite us, get people off their chairs, off their feet, whatever. And it is the most drab football. It is the most uninspiring performances when it is executed and it is on the pitch. It is so poor. And there's nowhere else to look but Graham at this point. You can't keep making excuses for this manager. And I knew that there were always going to be these games. Even if we go on little runs where maybe we grind out some victories and we get the result, it was just going to be a short while until these sort of performances creep back into our game where we're uneventful, we don't create anything, there's no chemistry. And at the end of the day, it has to come from the top now. It has to come from the top down. The manager is not inspiring this team. He's not, this team is not playing in a way that they should. They are not reaching their potential. They're not hitting their ceiling because they're not being used correctly. And there's something in the training ground, in the dressing room, that is just not aligning and not where Chelsea want to go, not with all this money spent where we should be. I understand there's time. We need to gel. These players need to get used to one another. Things need to be perfected on the training ground. But honestly, there's not a glimpse of anything that I could see that is positive from Chelsea and the way we're playing at the moment. So it's just awful, and it's just getting beyond bad. And so the way our home form is just dipping, and the way that we're just making mid-table teams look so much better than us and on par with some of the class quality players that we've brought in, it's beyond me how this is happening time and time again. Aston Villa, I know, are resurged, and I want to give credit to them because the job that Unai Emery's done is brilliant. I think Aston Villa have always had a few decent players in their ranks, and now with a manager like Emery, they're starting to really utilise them and they're starting to put in some really good performances. But at the end of the day, man for man, it shouldn't be a question. We shouldn't be losing this game at home. We shouldn't be so lackluster in front of goal, and we shouldn't be making these defensive calamity mistakes that keep creeping in and keep becoming a theme that Chelsea can't seem to shake. And that's where I want to start. I want to start with the defence and the starting lineup. We've gone with the back three, which has been paying off for us. We did well against Dortmund, and we did well against Leeds with this back three, and I feel like this is probably our most flexible defensive strategy when we're playing with this back three. But the personnel in this back three is clearly massively important. Back three, Mark Cucurella, left-sided centre-back, let's say, Koulibaly in the middle, and Reece James on the right. Now, I think we all got a bit surprised when we saw Reece James in that right-sided centre-back role, but I do think that the reason that has happened is sort of to protect Reece James and to ease him back into this football after picking up a big injury and after him sort of becoming in and out of the team sheet because his fitness has not been perhaps up to the standard where he would like it to be. And we don't want to keep risking losing Reece James because he is literally the most important player in our squad at the moment, perhaps alongside Thiago Silva. And I think that is the strategy. I think playing Reece James in that role is not the worst decision. I know we're not getting the best out of him when he's not able to bomb forward, but if it protects him and if it means that he's not sort of over-exerting himself and, increasing his likelihood of getting injured by, making those bombs forward and getting into those 50-50s with other wing-backs, then I am sort of supportive of that decision. I think it's not the worst decision to ease Reece James back into the fold as a right-sided centre-back where perhaps he's not doing as much running, he's not having to overexert himself, and we can ease him back into football, get his fitness up, get his 90 minutes up, and hopefully he's going to build his durability up even more. So I'm not mad at Reece James right-sided centre-back, even though we lose a lot. Now, Koulibaly has been he's had a resurgence. Like, he's been playing well at the wall. He's been, a physical presence, and I've been fairly pleased with his performances so far. And I think against Villa yesterday, I think it was an average one. It was times where him and Cucurella were clearly getting in sixes and sevens, making a mess. They weren't understanding who needs to go, who needs to stay back, who needs to follow, who needs to track, and there was a lot of confusion amongst those two. And I think with Koulibaly, I don't mind him as a centre back. I think he is more for where we want to go. I think he's a squad player. I think he's a man to fill in. He's definitely not a starter after seeing, Wesley Fofana and Badiashile and what they are doing in that role and how much more assured they are. But Koulibaly, I think he can be an asset to Chelsea, and even though him and Cucurella were absolutely making a mess of things yesterday, I think there is a future for Koulibaly, but it is not a super important one. It is a squad player, it is a rotation, because he is not a leader. You put him in that role there, and you see him and Cucurella make an absolute mess for Villa's first goal. Ollie Watkins, we had already been picked apart a few times before that. There was such an easy ball between Cucurella and Koulibaly that was always on for Villa. If they were to counter-attack quickly, if we were to lose the ball in the midfield, there was that ball that was so easy to thread through between the two because they weren't communicating well enough. And those two together do not fill me with a lot of confidence because they are two players that have come in over the summer and are far from the standard where Chelsea should be at defensively. Cucurella, I mean, this is getting a bit ridiculous. Now, I want to say, because Cucurella has actually been playing well. He has had a resurgence. He's been pressing. He's been on the front foot. He's been making more forward passes. He's been, dispossessing the opponent like deep in their half. I feel like Cucurella has been having a resurgence after hitting such a low. But at the end of the day, I don't think he's an astute defender. I don't think defensively he is astute enough for Chelsea and where we want to go. And the fact that we're going to have to justify spending 60 big ones on him over this year and over next year is going to hold us back, and we're not going to be able to compete at the highest level with Cucurella in the team sheet, in the starting 11. He doesn't start for me. He doesn't start. I think Lewis Hall does a better job than him. 18, 17-year-old Lewis Hall as a centre-back, or at least a left wing-back. Cucurella does not need to be anywhere near the starting 11. He needs to learn his trait. He needs to work under a manager who's going to work with him and help him improve his game. Because his game at the moment, for Chelsea at least, is poor. Very, very poor. And that header back and that miscommunication between him and Koulibaly. I mean, you could say Koulibaly should shout more, should scream, but at the end of the day, like, who expects Cucurella to jump out and do that and just put Ollie Watkins through on goal? Great goal. Took it well, but it is a defensive mistake, and, we don't need those kind of mistakes at the moment. We're struggling in front of goal. We don't need more pressure. We were playing well. We don't need more pressure piled on us. Now I need to touch on the midfield. The defence was obviously not great. We've got the wing-backs. We've got Loftus-Cheek on the right, Chilwell on the left. Chilwell I thought was positive. Loftus-Cheek didn't offer that much. I think he definitely is not Reece James in that position, but I don't think that was the real issue yesterday. I think the midfield pairing now of Enzo Fernandez and Mateo Kovacic, it does not work for me. I think they offer too much of the same, and they don't really complement each other because they're both very attacking minded players that don't really defend or act as a presence. And I feel like the back three are vulnerable with those two because they can lose the ball in the midfield. Like, I think Kovacic, as brilliant as he is, I think he's fantastic. He was captain yesterday. He takes the ball, he carries the ball forward, and it's almost like you can't get a ball off him. But he does make the odd bad pass, and when those things happen, we are vulnerable to a counter-attack, and the back three is vulnerable, and there also is not that defensive presence with the two of them that it feels like we're impenetrable. Like, we are easily penetrable, we are easily opened up, as we saw on occasions yesterday, to the counter-attack. So for me, Enzo and Kova doesn't work, but again, we're playing politics. It's the same thing with Cucurella. He's coming for 60 M's. You've got to play him. You can't not play a player you've spent all this money on. The manager, the owner, Bowley, he's looking. He wants to see where this money has gone. You've got to play him, even though they're not up to scratch. Now, Enzo, you've got to play him because we've spent all this money. He's been coveted, and I think he has done a great job since he's come in. You can see how much quicker we're moving the ball, how much better we're passing. So many balls, diags, he's getting applauds all over from Chelsea fans, and I think Enzo is doing a great job. But can you then go and drop Kovacic, who's literally been a hero for us? He's, Potter has entrusted in him the captaincy, in Thiago Silva's absence. And I think it's really unfair to not play Kovacic. You disrupt the dressing room if you drop Kovacic, in my opinion. But they don't work together. This is a conundrum we're going to have to come through. There's no way that Kovacic and Enzo Fernandez is a midfield pairing that works for us. It's not balanced at all. I'd rather see Loftus-Cheek and Enzo, Loftus-Cheek and Kovacic. I'd rather see N'Golo with one of them. It's just not going to work for me. You need a defensive-minded DM in that position at least to, aid and support the more attacking Kova or the more attacking Enzo. And that is a problem that Potter's got to deal with quickly. And the fact he keeps playing the two, I keep seeing it on the team sheet and I go, we're going to get stung. And we got stung yesterday for me. Like, those two attacking offered a lot. We had a lot of possession. We were great with the ball. Defensively, nothing. Defensively, we were so easily carved open. So not inspiring, and something that Potter is going to have to change. Mudryk, let me tell you, he's playing badly in the sense that he looks like a stranger amongst the team. It feels like he hasn't integrated well. I think he's a player who demands a lot of himself, and he's probably put a lot of stock into coming to Chelsea and expected to be the main man. I think he considers himself a main man, and maybe a future Ballon d'Or winner. I saw a video of him where they were ranking his FIFA card, and he had his numbers absolutely exponentially high. He considers himself to have a massive ceiling, and he is going to fulfill his potential one day. Now, he's come to Chelsea sort of expecting the red carpet to be rolled out with the money spent and the profile and how he's been coveted so much in England with Arsenal and Chelsea, both in competition to sign him. It hasn't really panned out that way. We bought Enzo, João Felix has come in. There have been some high-profile signings that have sort of, skewed the Mudryk signing at Chelsea, and I think maybe he's not really feeling the love. And he's come in and he looks like he hasn't integrated, and I don't think Chelsea players are finding him. He's not trying to. He's kind of expecting the ball to feet. He wants to be given the ball. He wants to be able to give him the freedom to go and do things like he did at Shakhtar, and that isn't happening. And I think a lot of people are writing him off. But let me tell you something. This guy is a player. I don't care about the chances he missed yesterday. Yes, he should have scored 1-on-1, 3-on-3 with the keeper. But at the end of the day, from what I'm seeing, when he gets the ball and what he does off the ball and the pace, and it's electrifying. I'm telling you, Mudryk is going to be a class player. I will say that with my chest. I'll put it down there. I think Mudryk is going to be a Premier League great. I really believe. I'm doubling down because he's got too much talent, and it just needs to get unlocked by the right manager. And the fact that Graham Potter keeps hurling him off to protect him, like he wants to go out there and play. Yes, he missed a chance. Ollie Watkins missed an absolute sitter before he scored. Yeah, okay, he got 2 in the first half. Great. Mudryk needs 90 minutes. Like, why does he not get 90 minutes? Why is Potter always hurling him off? Like, he wants to go out there and protect his reputation, and he can't do it in a finite amount of minutes. And I think until Mudryk starts playing 90 minutes week in, week out, like, it's not going to change. And Graham Potter is, to me, like, holding him back. And I feel like that is a big problem. And this narrative that Mudryk is a flop and Arsenal have avoided a big transfer flop is absolute garbage, because he is going to come good. I am absolutely faithful of that. But the front three overall are not working. There's no chemistry. They are strangers. They are all out for number one. João Felix, as brilliant as he is at times, like, honestly, you think, how has he still got the ball? How has he got out of that situation? How has he made that pass? How has he beat that man? João Felix is out for number one. He's trying to score. Kai Havertz, he wants to be Chelsea's main man. He's, at the end of the day, he helped Chelsea lift the Champions League. He considers himself a man with a lot of stock at Chelsea, and he wants to be the main man. He wants to score. He's thinking, I'm the number 9. Like, I need to be selfish. I need to score. Mudryk, he's there. He's coming for big money signings. He's got his issues. He's got all the criticisms that he's facing. He's not playing well. He's looking like a flop. He wants to score. All three of them are desperate to score goals, and it's too desperate, and there's no final pass that they could be making to one another to guarantee like a goal 100%. They're all out for their own skin, and that is really hurting Chelsea at the moment. And Graham Potter needs to identify that and start playing a different free. João Felix is walking into the team. Of course, he's on loan. We're paying all this money. Mudryk, for some reason, is not getting the game time. He's the expendable one. We've spent all that money on him, but he doesn't get a guaranteed starting place, and he doesn't guarantee 90 minutes. Havertz should be expendable. At the end of the day, like, it has had enough time playing at Chelsea. He has built up, he's built up experience there. Everybody knows what he can do, but if he doesn't do it, he needs to be held off. But Mudryk coming off all the time, it's very frustrating. And I think that is a big problem as to why we're not scoring goals. There's no chemistry. There's no altruism. It's not like, I'll thread you through. Like, let's get a goal for the team. It's like, I need to score. I've got people looking at me and pressure is mounting and I need to score. Mudryk should score. We were unlucky. Not many positives yesterday. I think it is going to just be this is going to be the case from here on. And it's just... That's it. For me, it is Potter out. I don't see this getting better. I don't want to wait years for this to turn around. This is not an Arsenal project. This is not the same thing. There's great managers available now. I'm going to do a video later on in the week about how we need to acquire one of these top managers when they become available. Thomas Tuchel, it was great to see him back in the dugout at Bayern Munich. He picks up a great win. But guys, let me know what you think. Am I making any sense? It's hard to make sense of all of this, but I'd love to know what you think. Like this video if you can. Leave a comment in the comment box. Subscribe if you haven't already. But yeah, I want to hear from you. Really want to hear what your thoughts are on the game yesterday and where Chelsea are at. And I'll see you in the next one in a bit.